TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations.
Shalom, Erev Tov, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcast to you from Jerusalem. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance arrives in Israel for a 3-day working visit. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu asserts Israel faces great opportunities ahead. President Donald Trump threatens Hamas with obliteration if the terrorist organization deviates from his 20-point plan. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance arrived in Israel early today for an official working visit aimed at monitoring President Donald Trump's ceasefire initiative and deliberating prospects to seize emerging opportunities. Speaking ahead of his expected meeting with the American Vice President, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed the opening session of the Israeli Parliament, the winter session, during the course of which he proclaimed relations between Washington and Jerusalem to be at an all-time high.
The relationship with the United States has never been as close and tight as it is now, both on the state level and on the personal level between President Trump and I. And I think everyone understands the importance of this great closeness. We were all moved by his historic visit to Israel and the historic speech in Parliament of our greatest friend in the White House from time immemorial. Vice President J.D. Vance will arrive on behalf of President Trump. We will talk about two things, mainly two things: the security challenges that face us and the political opportunities that face us. We will overcome challenges. We will realize the opportunities.
Prime Minister Netanyahu further highlighted that Israel maintains its vigilance, unceasingly monitoring the developments of its enemies, while in tandem, Jerusalem maintains its hope to broaden the circle of peace.
Our enemies are trying to rearm and challenge us. In the violent and savage Middle East, old threats take on new forms, and there are also new threats. We stand guard and work to thwart those threats. You do not know everything, and perhaps not everything will be known. One hand holds a weapon to defeat those who seek our harm. Our other hand extends to those who want to forge peace with us. And today there are quite a few, even many.
The Israeli leader continued by addressing the significant challenges which the people of Israel had to endure over the course of the past 2 years.
For the past 2 years, in direct continuation of the War of Independence, it has been a war on 7 fronts. But above all, my friends and members of the Knesset, it has been a war of revival. The terrible massacre of October 7th was a testing moment like few in the history of our country. We began from the depth of pit, from the most terrible disaster that befell us since the Holocaust. We stood up. We fought back against those who sought to kill us. We worked to remove the existential threat of Iran and its proxies from us. We fiercely defended the national revival enterprise, which is the State of Israel. We are restoring and strengthening the Gaza periphery as the region of revival, and we are doing the same in the north. After 24 months of continuous fighting, we have reached a high point from the peak of Mount Hermon to the skies of Tehran and the thrilling moment of returning our hostages. In total, we have returned 239 hostages in previous release deals and in daring rescue operations of our fighters. A week ago, we returned the remaining 20 living hostages to Israel, along with 12 dead hostages. But the mission is not yet complete. To the families of the deceased hostages, we are committed to returning everyone to Israel until the very last one.
Prime Minister Netanyahu also seized the opportunity to underscore that up until the moment in which President Trump exploited the immense military pressure to broker a ceasefire, Hamas had not indicated any willingness to compromise.
בשום שלב, לא לפני חצי שנה.
At no point, not 6 months ago, not a year ago, not a year and a half ago, at no point was Hamas ready for the outline we have now achieved, the return of all the kidnapped at once, IDF control of most of the Gaza Strip, IDF presence in most of the Gaza Strip, and an explicit decision with broad international consensus, including Arab countries and almost the entire Muslim world, to demilitarize the Strip and disarm Hamas. We are determined to achieve all the goals of the war and to eliminate Hamas as a political and military entity. And we will achieve these goals.
Meanwhile, the Islamist Hamas continues to violate the ceasefire, murdering countless of Palestinian civilians who had voiced opposition to the Muslim Brotherhood terror group, while dragging its feet in implementing the first phase of President Trump's deal, as 15 hostages who were murdered in Hamas captivity have not yet been returned. Moreover, the terror group continues to believe that it will manage to maintain its arms and hold a central role in the future governance of the Gaza Strip. Consequently, President Donald Trump was asked about steps that his administration is taking to ensure the sustainability of the ceasefire.
What steps is the administration taking to maintain the ceasefire?
Well, a lot of steps, and right now it's in the hands of others. You know, we have 59 countries that agreed to the deal. We have a peace in the Middle East for the first time ever. We made a deal with Hamas that, you know, they're going to be very good, they're going to behave, they're going to be nice, and if they're not, we're going to go and we're going to eradicate them if we have to. They'll be eradicated, and they know that. So they went in, and I don't believe it was the leadership, but they had some rebellion in there among themselves, and they killed some people, you know, a lot of people. But this is a violent group. You know, you probably noticed over the last 100 years, this is a very violent group of people. And they got very rambunctious, and they did things that they shouldn't be doing. And if they keep doing it, then we're going to go in and straighten it out, and it'll happen very quickly and pretty violently, unfortunately.
President Trump was further asked about whether U.S. troops would be directly involved in holding Hamas accountable if it fails to comply.
No, it won't be on the ground at all. We don't need to, because we have many countries, as you know, signed on to this deal. The way I view it, 59 countries, and unanimous. There's never been, nobody ever believed us. Right? Countries that 4 months ago didn't like each other, and now they're all aligned together. I mean, we've had countries calling me when they saw some of the killing with Hamas, saying, we'd love to go in and take care of the situation ourselves. In addition, you have Israel would go in 2 minutes if I asked them to go in. I could tell them, go in and take care of it. But right now, we haven't said that. We're going to give it a little chance, and hopefully there will be a little less violence. But right now, you know, they're violent people. Hamas has been very violent. But they don't have the backing of Iran anymore. They don't have the backing of really anybody anymore. They have to be good. And if they're not good, they'll be eradicated.
It is worth noting that while the United States is seemingly clear-eyed about the violations by the Islamist Hamas, Hamas's patron and guarantor for its compliance with President Trump's 20-point plan, the Emir of Qatar namely, is now blatantly trying to shift the blame of violations towards Israel, going as far as to blame Jerusalem for somehow trying to Judaize the Temple Mount, using the Arabic term Haram el-Sharif, or noble sanctuary, that was first introduced in history following the Mamluk occupation of Jerusalem in 1260 AD.
We hereby reaffirm our condemnation of all Israeli violations and practices in Palestine, particularly the transformation of the Gaza Strip into an area unfit for human life, the continued breaches of the ceasefire, the expansion of settlements in the West Bank, and the ongoing attempts to Judaize al-Haram al-Sharif, the Temple Mount. We also reaffirm that the Gaza Strip is an integral part of the Palestinian territories and of the unified state of Palestine.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. If you're blessed by our updates, which are exclusively donation-based, please support TV7 with a donation. You can do so via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. I would like to also encourage you to keep praying for the return of all of the deceased hostages from Hamas captivity in the Gaza Strip. Pray also for the Christians and Druze faced by a siege by the Damascus regime in southern Syria, and the Christian community in Nigeria, as well as the Christian community in China. And last but not least, pray for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Essen, wishing you an Erev Mevorach, and God willing, until our next update, Shalom from Jerusalem.